Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show, brought to you by Salvatore's Pizza. It's Jeff DeVeronica and Steve Bradley with our final guest of the morning. His name is Joe Bellanca, who I'll introduce now as the former Rush-Henrietta boys volleyball coach, which just became official this week. The Royal Comets knocked out of the sectionals by top seed McQuaid in 4 sets. Joe Bellanca. Joe, congrats on a great career, 21 years. How does that sound, the former Rush-Henrietta volleyball coach?
Well, I got to tell you, thank you, first of all, for the congratulations on the career. It's been a wild ride for 21 years. I guess I'm still getting used to that idea that it's former. Obviously, this is an idea that's been kicking around in my head for a little while. But this was a decision that was a family decision, one that we made together as a family group. And, I'm going to miss the game quite a bit, but I'm ready to start the next, experience of my life.
Joe, before you were a coach, could you just take us through your background? Probably, were you able to play volleyball in high school? I know the game has evolved quite a bit, but take us through your background.
Yeah, absolutely. I graduated from Rush-Henrietta in 1993, and they had started the program there just a few years before I got to high school. So I did play 3 years of high school volleyball. I went to Nazareth College and played tennis. They had a club volleyball team that practiced at really weird hours, and I couldn't make both of those things work along with the academic profile. And then when I got hired as a teacher at Rush-Henry in 98, I was given the opportunity to get back into the game. I came at a rival school, actually. I spent 3 years as the boys and girls junior varsity coach at Penfield, and I got a chance to return to my alma mater, and I've been there as a coach since 2001.
You are 15 years as the boys varsity coach at Rush-Henrietta, career record 160 and 141, couple Monroe County championships, AGR Coach of the Year in 2009, Class A Coach of the Year 4 times, couple sectional appearances, finals appearances, 2007, 2010. Who beat you in those? The coaches always remember who beat them. Who beat you in 07?
Well, in 2007, it was Penfield. And I got to tell you, that team was the definition of we were just happy to be there. We went in kind of about a 500 team. We were a 7 seed. We pulled a big upset against Fairport in the quarterfinals, then another one in the semis to get there. And we were totally overmatched by Penfield. They were a phenomenal roster in 2007, but it was a young group and we kept building from there. And in 2010, we lost in the finals to McQuaid, and that was a much more even match. We had pretty high expectations going into that one. And, the level of play around here is so good that if you can get to a finals, then you've really done something. And in the last 10 years, not for nothing, but the best team in Class A in Section 5 has won the state 9 out of the last 10 years also. So a very competitive league, but of course we do remember the losses certainly as much as we remember the wins.
Joe, could you talk about just the level of play and how the game has evolved since you started playing at Rush-Henrietta about 30 years ago to just the level of the athletes and the quality that it is today?
Yeah, without question. That's been probably the biggest change that I've seen, not only from my playing days, but really the beginning of my coaching career also, is that the level of play is better in every possible way. Players are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. The level of training is better during the season and off season. There are tremendous high school coaches in our league, and also the amount of off-season opportunities for kids have never been better. So really, the speed of the game is a level that I never thought I would see when I started this. And that's been across the board, Class A, Class B, Monroe County, Finger Lakes area. Just the game has gotten bigger, faster, and stronger.
Let's go back to Thursday night's match. 30-28, the first set. You knock off McQuaid in the first set. And then, of course, McQuaid does what McQuaid does, and they got you, I think it was 17, 18, and 14 the last 3. What changed and how did they change it?
Well, I'll tell you, McQuaid is a really, really difficult matchup. They have a huge net presence, and they're very, very physical around the net. What we were able to do in set number 1 is serve them very effectively, took them a little bit out of their patterns that they wanted to run offensively. And we also sat it out at a really high percentage in set number 1. I think we sat it out 10 of the last 11 rotations to wind up winning that set. And that percentage, while being fantastic, is really not sustainable over the course of a long match. What changed is that, they made some minor adjustments with their serve receive. They pushed forward a little bit and started to take a lot more balls with their hands than with their forearms. And we weren't really able to sustain the level on our side. Their serve broke us down a little bit. and certainly the emotion of the night. And the McQuaid gym is a fairly small gym by comparison to others. And even with COVID protocols, it felt like there was a really big presence in the gym. It was loud, it was emotional. And they played like a number one seed is supposed to play. We were very, very fortunate to get set number one. And they really took it to us after that.
Joe, when you look back, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of the relationships that I've built with players, especially when I go back to the earliest days of my career. I mean, these are guys now that are in their 30s, they're married, they have kids, and they've remained friends of mine since then. And I think that's really the thing that I'm probably going to miss the most is the human element of it. Watching these kids come into our gym when they're ninth graders, watching them grow into young men, not only as athletes, but also as people. That's, I think, the thing I'm most proud of is watching what these guys have become several years after graduation.
Well, a couple championship matches on Saturday. Penfield, the 2 seed at McQuaid. A couple of the Titans really of Section 5, 3:30 at McQuaid. And then in Class B, 1 o'clock match, Irondequoit looking for its first title since 1994 against Spencerport, a team that's been knocking on the door, and they're undefeated, the Rangers. So a couple of great matches. Joe, we wish you the best in retirement, and appreciate all you've done for Section 5 volleyball at Rush, Henrietta, and beyond.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for today.
That's a wrap. Another week of the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. We appreciate Joe being on our specialties hotline, all of our guests. Folks, have a great week. We'll talk to you again next week. You've been listening to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Fox Sports 1280.